Veterans Center. So if you want to go ahead and welcome them.
Who used the term word vomit? Who was that? I haven't heard that in several years. That was a great use. That was awesome. Okay, so are you all ready for just some dry numbers and whatnot? Yeah. Oh, look, more stuff for you, too. Okay, how are we doing today? Are we the last ones? Or do you guys have more after us? We're the first ones. Sorry. Okay, we're going to lower the bar then, and we'll just walk like this, so that just does nothing but take that out. My name is Todd Kennedy. I'm the Military and Veterans Program Administrator here at SVSU. As mentioned, thank you for having us over here too, by the way. As mentioned, I work over in the Joan and Barron Veterans Center, which is right around the corner, and this is Vanessa Quinones. She's our new Veterans Coordinator, just about 6 weeks on campus, so very new as well. In fact, she actually snuck into one of the tours to really learn a little bit. What I'm going to do today is just kind of spend about 20 minutes, I think that's the time limit that I've got, talking about our program. I'm not going to try and drown you out with numbers or bore you with the word vomit, if you will. But I do want to get some information across to you, but I also want to make sure that you're really understanding what it is that we're doing. Sorry, I do a lot of presentations, and I'm one of the worst because I'm all over the place. I get that. First of all, are there any veterans in the room? Because yes, there have been veterans as part of the ambassador program. No veterans. Anybody who's a dependent of either a service member or a veteran, thank you for everything that you all put up with. You know, we as veterans, we hear, thank you for your service, thank you for your service. You guys are often overlooked as well. So thank you for what you're doing. Who here is not from San Diego originally? Okay. You all are why we're losing the Chargers. I'm kidding. Well, what you're going to find is just by virtue of being here in San Diego, just by being here in San Diego, you're going to realize that there's a different perspective when it comes to supporting the military and veteran population within the community as well as here on campus. The campus, don't quote me on these numbers, but I know that the campus has a student body of somewhere between 32,000 and 35,000 students overall. We as a military population on this campus hover around 3,500, and that includes veterans, active duty, reservists, National Guard, but most importantly, dependents. About 2/3 of the military-connected population are dependents. What we mean by that are the spouses and the children of service members or veterans who are attending school here. We include them in our numbers because, yes, the veterans, they may have experienced different things around the world. The service members, they've got their military obligations. But the family members, spouses and children, they've got their own set of challenges, their own unique experiences that they're dealing with while they're becoming students as well. I'm not going to go over all the different program aspects. You've got that information in front of you on our Fast Facts. It's great literature. I highly encourage that you read it at night and when you're in the restroom and driving down the freeway. Pay very close attention to it. What I will say is I'm just going to kind of stress a little bit about how we approach the program here overall. We recognize that when students separate from the military or they're a family member of a military service member, the first transition is leaving the service and then coming to the university. But that's not the final transition. We know that there's stuff that's happening afterwards. So we approach things here in a 3-stage life cycle. That first stage being outreach. We have a couple of individuals on our staff that work specifically with separating service members as well as veterans at the community college level, to include some spouses and a few others. Through outreach, they assist with that transition to the university. You've all been through the application process. You went through the admissions process. You know there's a lot of confusing jargon. Now, take into consideration that the military population, 62% are first-generation college students, which means they don't have anybody else in their family who's been to college. They don't understand what a bursar is. They don't understand what admissions deadlines really means. So it's an understanding of that lingo. And that's what the outreach folks do, is they actually assist with making that transition to the university. Stage 2, we call academic success. While they're here, this is where the heart of the center, the Barron Veterans Center, comes into play. We focus primarily on GI Bill certification and assistance with other state and federal VA education benefits. We also serve as a repository of information and a bank of resources, if you will. So when this student population has an issue, where they have a need, or they're just not sure where the heck to go, they know they can come to us and we'll get them pointed in the right direction. Okay? And that's everything from the GI Bill certifications and whatnot that'll help with the tuition and fees, to tutoring, to counseling, to just where in the hell do I get a parking pass? You know, things like that. That's what we're here for, because again, many of our staff members are either veterans or family members of veterans, so we've been through a lot of these issues and we understand that there's some challenges there. Stage 3 is the career transition. We know that this is not the final spot for our population. Everybody's going to move on, well, almost everybody's going to move on. I decided to stick around. But everybody's going to move on into the career force, either back into it or into it for the first time, the civilian side of the house. That's where we have another couple of folks who actually work on the career transition piece. And through different venues, different events, things like networking with industry, helping out with internships, how to write a resume, things like that, we're able to set this population up for the best success getting back into the career force or entering the civilian career force for the first time. So outreach, which is not recruitment, understand that. We are not out there actively recruiting military service members or veterans. It's outreach to assist, academic success, and then career transition. Any questions on the life cycle? Great, I'm getting that one down pat. The next thing I want to do is just kind of talk about how we got to this level of support. It was about 6 years ago or so. Don't quote me on the year. This one's not going to be on the quiz. The one lady who used to process all the GI Bill benefits was a one-person show. Her name is Joan. She's still the director of our program. She used to work in the registrar's office at a walk-up window and was helping about 800 or so students utilizing some form of benefit. Fast forward a few years, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were happening. We saw an influx of student veterans coming to the campus when their military obligation was over. We saw this new thing called the post 9/11 GI Bill come out. The program started growing. So in 2010, Joan and the one or two student workers under the VA, work-study students, they were given an office over in the education building, which is just north of where we are here. They were in that space for about a year before they moved into where I think it's international admissions. It's down there at the end now, 1575. We got that space. And then just last summer, not this past summer, a year ago summer, we got the space that we're in now, which is at 4,000 square feet. So it's bigger than this room right here. That's amazing when you look at campuses across the country and around the world in some cases where their veterans program is literally a closet. Or it'll be a part-time individual who's doing financial aid, and maybe taking care of some GI Bill stuff. So from walk-up window, we've gone around the globe 4,000 square feet. How did this happen? The level of support that we get. Everything from the president and the senior administration all the way down through staff and faculty, all the way down to the student body. And I'm not trying to say that in a better than, worse than type thing, but let's face it, there are levels here at the campus. Point being, everybody's incredibly supportive of this population. You all are an amazing piece of that support network. Because believe it or not, every time that one of these tours happens, you're going to have vets in that group. And if you get asked the occasional, well, where the hell's a vet center? Just kind of roll with it, point them in the right direction, and give them a cookie and tell them to be happy. Whatever you got to do. But the level of support is amazing. And again, it's not just because money is coming into the university via the GI Bill. It's because of sincere appreciation and also the culture that is San Diego. All of you transplants who I know when you graduate you're going to stay in San Diego, you'll soon understand and appreciate it. What else? That's really the broad brush wave top overview of the program. We talked a little bit about the history. We talked about the program with the 3 stages. We talked about the numbers. How many military connected students are there? 3,500. How many veterans? 6. No, I'm kidding. It's usually around 900. Okay, that is a question that does get asked regularly: is how many veterans? and it is around 900. And then it's about 2/3 of the total 3,500 are the dependent. You guys can just kind of talk through the others. If you ever have questions about the actual numbers, Vanessa's a data geek. She loves statistics. She loves crunching numbers. She'd be more than happy to help you out with this. She is. She's a data geek. She loves word vomit too.
Natalie's a stats major.
Uh-oh. Recruiting. I'm sorry, outreach. What questions do you have for us? Yeah.
What are your hours for your office?
We open at 9 a.m. and we close at 4. 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then obviously holidays and some other days we may be closed for whatever reason when the campus is. We also have, and I think it's still included in the campus tour script, the house over on the other side of campus, the Student Veterans House.
I don't think so. I think it was
It's not?
taken out, yeah.
Okay, I know, we're gonna be re-engaging on that. There is a Student Veterans House over on the opposite side of campus. Some of you may have been over there along Pratt Road, you see it there on the corner. That is not a dormitory. It is not a barracks. It is not a house per se. A lot of people have that misconception. So if you do get asked about it, just explain that it's an extension of our lounge in the center. Meaning it's a place where this military population can go before classes, between classes, after classes, whatever, in order to network, hang out, relax, study, do different things. Okay? We just call it the Student Veterans House because it is a fraternity house that we've been given the ability to use, funded through the university, which again is another indicator of that level of support.
And they're only open from 10 to 4.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I do have a question. Last week on one of my tours, a veteran family asked me if there was like a residential learning community dedicated for like veteran affiliated students.
Like a computer lab?
No, like
type thing?
like in the residence halls, like if a student is affiliated with the veterans, like do they have a specific like floor or anything like that? I told them that there wasn't a specific floor for veterans.
That is correct.
But there was like an ROTC program, so it's
Yeah,
not like
so that's a good point. The ROTC program is generally completely disconnected from us. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, for those not aware of it. For the most part, those individuals have not served in the military yet. However, we do have a large amount of support and a lot of collaboration that we do between the two entities. So the ROTC will do a lot of things that we'll participate in. They do have some active duty service members that are going through ROTC while they're earning a degree, still in the military, in which case we'll service their GI Bill benefits. The ROTC may have their floor. I don't think the veterans in that program would take part in it, but there is no dedicated floor in any residence or dorm for the veteran population. Okay? That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. What else? I know I saw another hand somewhere here in the middle. Yeah.
I know where the office is, but what's the room number?
1661. Student Services West, 1661.
Walk towards the student union, and if you reach the student union, turn around. They're right there on the corner. In fact, her office is the corner. Just beat on the windows and she'll answer.
Pretty much.
What else? That's it? Okay. You say, yeah.
What is your job?
My job? I tell her what to do. Well, my job actually used to be the Veterans Coordinator piece, and I'm not going to jump too far into that. I'll actually let Vanessa talk about the different staff members that we have real quick. But basically, as the program manager, I'm overseeing the total operation of the center, making sure that everything's running smoothly, incorporating new programs, things like that. One of the key things, I'm going to put out the shameless plug. It's a program called Military Ally. It's a 4-hour seminar that we offer on the cultural awareness of the military population. I'm putting an open invite. If you all are interested in that, reach out to either myself or Vanessa, and we can try to make arrangements to get you into one of those seats. It's a good opportunity to get some insight into the background and the experiences of this military group. It may help out when you're dealing with those vets and family members and whatnot on the tours. So that's something that I'll put out there. And then Vanessa, why don't you kind of tell me a little bit about what you do?